Today I'm going to talk about my plane spotting experience at LAX on January 21st of 2023. I chose Clutter's Park, which is one of many good spots to view planes at LAX. Clutter's Park is located towards the end of runways 25 left and right. These are the south runways. There are runways 24 left and right. North of that, your view is not quite as good. Of course, it depends on your photographic equipment. But I stayed at Embassy Suites South, LAX South, which is about a 15-minute walk from Clutter's Park. View from the hotel is not all that great, so you can get a room facing the airport, but there's not too much to look at. So what exactly is Clutter's Park? Clutters Park is more or less just a pull-off area off of Imperial Avenue. There's a few benches. It's not really that large, but it's a good spotting area because you're right there at least with 25R. The area felt fairly safe to me. I didn't have to worry about anything. This was day that I went was a Saturday. It didn't get all that crowded, but I could imagine at certain times it would possibly get crowded, so that's something to think about. One of the things you'll notice right off is that there's several YouTubers that get out there and have regular shows that they run from that area, which is it's an interesting experience, and you'll meet all kind of people that have aviation interests, and so it's just a good feeling. I think everybody gets together and talks about planes. So being the amateur that I am at this, I probably learned some things, and I could offer some suggestions for folks that if you want to get out there and have a better experience. So what I found out was that I was told that the best viewing times for this was somewhere between 9 a.m. and 3 o'clock because of the sun position. So I was out there right at 9 in the morning, and I did stay almost till 3. So that's a good suggestion. The next thing that I thought of the day before, I got out Flight Radar and looked at flight schedules just to see what interesting flights might be coming through. I remember looking at a lot of the flights from the Pacific and Japan Airlines coming in, and because I wanted some shots of those. Unfortunately, I did not get those shots because they came in on 24 left and right, and they were too far away from my viewpoint, which gets me into another suggestion for folks. I have a Canon 90D, and I have the stock lens. It's an 18 to 135 millimeter, and that's really not far enough reach. I would suggest to at least have a 300 millimeter, if not 400 millimeter, to really get out and for you to get to 24 left and right. So the other side of this is you really be a good idea to have a tripod. I didn't have one. Not everybody out there had one. And if you do have one, try not to bring some big, huge tripod that gets in everybody's way. You don't want to be a jerk about that. So, but I think a tripod would be a pretty good idea for that. A couple other things I missed was I, of course, have the Flight Radar app on my phone. I did not bring my iPad, but it might have been something worth bringing and at least having to look at. But you don't want to have your head down looking at the iPad, looking at Flight Radar too much and miss some of the flights. just by chance. But what I found was that I, I've obviously could see the flights coming in and departing and departures and arrivals, but a lot of times I was having to follow what other people were after. So if I had had flight radar up and just kind of monitoring it, I think I would have been better off. And finally, the thing that would have also helped is to have a scanner tuned to the tower. And I'm sure they have a tower for both arrivals and departures or for each set of runways, but it would have been nice to have monitored the tower frequencies just to get a better idea what was coming. So those I think the next time around I will definitely try to be more professional. These are some of my better shots. The first one is Air Tahiti Nui. I believe it's a 787. I've always loved that livery. It's just beautiful, and I was fortunate enough to catch it. Even with the stretch of the lens, I got a pretty good shot of it. Next is an Atlas 747, and the interesting thing about this was that this was within about a week of when Boeing rolled out the last 747 produced, and it was an Atlas Air 747. But quite a bit of cargo traffic, at least on that side of the airport, because there are a lot of cargo operators right on the south side of the airport. So I did get to see a lot of cargo traffic and a lot of 747s. And those things come up there, it looks like you can almost reach out and touch them. They're just huge. The other interesting thing that happened when I was there was that the vice president had been in California, and Air Force Two, which is a 740 or 757, was at the airport and actually took off the time that I was out there, but I somehow managed to miss it because they took off eastbound on 24 left or right, and so was not able to get a shot of them. But what I did get a shot of was one of the support aircraft, a C-17, which seemed to be of quite an interest to the spotters that day, because this C-17 was from Dover Air Force Base on the East Coast and not Travis on the West Coast. So everyone seemed to be excited about that, but I got a long distance shot of that C-17. C-17s don't excite me that much. I see them where I live a lot. So, but this is a Dover bird, is what what was referred to. This next shot is a typical shot right after rotation going by the tower. And I've seen this shot. It's a common shot in aviation stories. They kind of use that shot as a stock article, but it's an iconic shot of takeoffs from LAX. The next one is Air New Zealand, which I just love that livery. It's just absolutely beautiful. And finally, I had to get a shot of a speed bird, and so there's a speed bird. And what do you do at the end of a very productive day out plane spotting? You go around the corner. It's just around the corner past where I was staying at the Embassy Suites, but it's a local brewery called Upshift Brewery, and so enjoyed a couple of beers there. But it was a nice end to a wonderful day of plane spotting. So the next time that I get out to LAX, I will return to Clutter's Park, but I'm also going to try. There's roof observation deck at the H Hotel, which is closer into the terminals at LAX, and you're kind of in between those two sets of runways. So I do plan on trying that one out next time. So, and I'll be ready with better photographic equipment. So, but that was my experience at Clutter's Park plane spotting at LAX.